And now tonight's Tipline Investigation. When most people think about immigration, they think about what's happening at the southern border. But some people who are trying to enter the country legally have a bureaucratic wall stopping them. The couple you're about to meet, they are married. He lives in the San Ynez Valley, and she's living outside Bogota, Colombia.
I was at the airport to pick up my then girlfriend, Daniela, and I was there to pick her up at LAX 5:30. And I waited and watched all the people come off the plane. She never got off the plane.
That was February 2019. Dave Henry says Daniela just seemed to vanish. Airline employees, TSA officials, no one knew anything. At least that's what they told him. Finally, almost 6 hours later, an airline worker spoke up.
They told me that they're not allowed to tell me this, but that she's been put on an airplane back to Colombia the following day.
Dave went home to pack and fly to Colombia, still oblivious to what happened.
So finally at 3:30 in the morning, I get the call. It's from her. She's crying. And the call lasted about 10 seconds, and I couldn't get any information on her because she was hysterical crying. Then the agent came on the phone and said, "Time is up."
Daniela was being detained by U.S. Customs agents. Dave says it wasn't until he notified the Colombian embassy in L.A. the next morning that Daniela was allowed to make another phone call and explain what happened.
So I was in the counter and they said, like, give me your phone. And I was like, okay, so I have my phone.
Daniela says the customs agents searched her phone, including all text messages for the words love and work.
We can't say that you're going to stay here for love. We're just gonna say that you were here working, so that's why you're going back to your country.
Daniela says the agents used a text message she had sent to a friend explaining how she's been working a lot as proof that she was working in the U.S. illegally. However, Daniela explained to the agents that she'd been working in Australia, not the U.S.
And in this case, this officer, with that little information that he had, was given the ability to remove her from the country for 5 years.
Daniela says she has a college degree and traveled around the world for more than 12 years, including many trips to the U.S. where her brother lives, with no problems until that day at LAX. She also claims the customs agent, a man, tried flirting with her when they were alone, making her uncomfortable.
Like, oh, it's terrible that we are here in this situation instead of having a beer in a famous place like here in Colombia, like in a restaurant. So
he was hitting on you?
Yeah.
The news channel contacted the Department of Homeland Security and the State Department, but so far they have not responded to those specific allegations. Dave and Daniela married in March 2019, as they planned to do all along. And for the last 2 years, they've met in Colombia, Mexico, and places in between. Now, they first contacted the news channel for help back in May 2020. We started inquiring about the evidence against Daniela. Did U.S. authorities really revoke her visa for 5 years based on one text message? Or did they have proof of something much more serious? So far, we have not received responses to our questions. In the meantime, the Henrys say they proved that Daniela never worked in the U.S.
You, CJ, were a big help. So the good news is that over this 2 years, we have had her visa restriction removed. So she now is allowed in the country, and that was large in part to you yourself.
But since then, the pandemic has kept them apart, and now all they're waiting on is final approval from the U.S. Embassy in Bogota.
So it's hard, really hard.
We try to do it the legal way. We try to do it the right way. We pay the fees, and after 2 years, it gets to a certain point where you start to understand, just how bad and wrong the system is.
And Daniela says the U.S. Embassy in Bogota turned her down again about 2 weeks ago. She says they claimed there was a problem with the paperwork, which means that they now have to wait another 6 months to get an appointment and try it all over again. At this point, Daniela says she is not sure, doesn't know why they singled her out. We will continue to follow the story. Of course, we will update you along the way.